In 2022, Ukrainian mathematician Maryna Viazovska, who is a professor at the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology Lausanne, became only the second woman to win the Fields Medal, which is regarded as the maths equivalent of the Nobel Prize. Professor Viazovska, who was born and raised in Kyiv, won this prestigious award for solving the sphere packing problem. Recently, she was in Paris to receive an honorary doctorate from the Sorbonne University for her contributions to mathematics. I spoke to Professor Viazovska before the ceremony and started by asking what these prestigious honors mean to her.
Yes, of course, it's very nice to receive prizes, and they mean recognition, that my work is recognized by my colleagues, and it's nice to know that what I've done is important for other people. And of course it's also a privilege because there is a lot of actually great mathematicians working in our times, proving great results, discovering great things. So being one of the lucky ones who do get the prizes is, I think it's also a privilege.
Can you tell us how you felt on winning the Fields Medal?
Yeah, of course I was extremely excited about it because I realized that somehow only 4 people get this prize every 4 years, and because there are so many other great young people working around me, so I realized that the chances of me being given it, maybe, yes, it was an extreme luck, and I was very excited about that.
Was it your dream to win the Fields Medal?
So I think maybe the main joy of doing mathematics is actually getting good results. So this is what really gives me the most, like the biggest kick, is when you work on a problem which you believe is important, you understand that it is difficult, and then at some point you do get a new idea which changes how you view the things and which allow you making progress. So this is the real reward. And then somehow, so my motivation was always to prove theorems that are important, that are that make progress. But prizes, that's a nice byproduct.
Can you tell us about your research on the sphere packing problem?
Yes, maybe let me explain a little bit. So it's rather easy to explain what the sphere packing problem is. So you imagine a very, very big box and an infinite supply of balls, like hard balls, like oranges or maybe cannonballs. And now you start putting your balls into the box, and if your box is big enough, then what happens near the boundary of the box is not very important, and so important becomes only the volume of the box, and it will define how many balls you can put inside, so what the density would be. And so it's very easy to visualize this problem in our dimension 3. And now the problems I was working on is the same problem, only in dimensions 8 and 24. And so then there's all the same story, only you can imagine that your box is 8-dimensional and your balls are 8-dimensional. And one might wonder, so what the dimension is, and I think it's a very nice, interesting conversation. So the dimension is essentially the number of degrees of freedom that we have in our space. And another question one might ask, like, why people think that this is an important question. And so here, because when you think of these higher dimensional spaces, maybe the way I think of them is not as a geometric spaces where something can happen or somebody can live, but rather the ways we arrange information. And then this question becomes actually very important in areas like coding theory or cryptography, or in fact in many different computational tasks that people carry out. So this becomes one of these fundamental questions, which is maybe a pure math questions on its own, but then if we have good solutions for it, it actually gives us advantage in many other computations that we are doing.
How did you get attracted to mathematics? Did you develop a liking from your early childhood?
Yes, I think it's maybe a bit of a boring story. Just since I started studying at school, mathematics was my favorite subject, and I was good in it and I liked it, and then these two things, they reinforced each other. Because I was good in it, I maybe liked it more than other subjects where I was not so good, like writing was hard for me. I would always make some mistakes, have to correct it, get punished for it. Or reading also. When I was a small child, it was not so easy to to learn to read. But mathematics, it was always easy, and I liked it. And because I liked it, I maybe would do it more and get even better. So, and then at some point, maybe it was like I think of it as the trails for a train. I stand on it when I was maybe in my primary school and middle school, and then just kept going till now, when I'm a grown-up person.
And finally, what has been the impact of the war in Ukraine on you?
Yes, so as I live in Switzerland, so impact on me is maybe more of a psychological one, but I think actually war has changed everything, not only for me, but for me it has changed the way I think about the world now, and many things I took for granted, like safety. Now I understand how extremely precious it is. And of course war had great impact on my family who lives in Ukraine, so my nephews had to leave Ukraine, so now they live in Switzerland with me, and of course this was a huge shift for them. And my parents and my grandparents still live in Ukraine, and so war is I'm not saying it's a very banal thing to say, but war is a very bad thing. And you can imagine that for 3 years, almost every day, then air defense alarm turns all the night. And so I think about my grandfather and grandmother. They were children during the Second World War, and now at the final years of their life, they cannot sleep at night for 3 years. And there are, of course, many more people who are impacted in a much worse way. So now they also see their neighbors, the children who grew up together with them, who come back from war wounded or even worse, dead. So, of course, war is a terrible thing. So, yeah.